My friends, welcome back to exercise 101 of my 200 3D CAD problems in FreeCAD series. Today I want to work on this little mesh and I think I'll be doing this in Lattice 2 Workbench. I could do the same thing in Draft Workbench as well, but given how many arrays that I'll have to create, somehow I'm preferring Lattice 2. So Lattice 2 Workbench is an add-on. It does not come with the default FreeCAD installation. If you are new in this series and this is the first video watching on my channel, I have described Lattice 2 Workbench, basics of it in a couple of videos in the past. I'll put those links to the description. But you can go to Tools and Add-on Manager and search for Lattice 2 and then install that and to accomplish the goal. Before we jump into Lattice 2, we will do our default routine. We'll do the image processing and bring in the axis cross by pressing A+C on the keyboard and then relocate this image to our intended location. So I want to put it at one of the corners. Now one might say this is symmetric on both sides, so we could do half or like a quarter of it. Like we could place the axis in the middle and then only do this quarter and then mirror it 2 times. Yes, we can do that, but since I will be working with Lattice 2 on this specific model, mirroring would not do much of a good. We'll just create the whole thing. So breaking down the object, it has a pad at the bottom. So let's go ahead and create that pad real quick. And it will be a simple rectangle with height would be 107 and length would be 113. So there is the simplest rectangle that we could create. And I'm going to rename that as the sketch base, and instead of going up I want to bring it down, so our actually AC would be at this point. I want to build this pad downward and I can do that by hitting reversed, and then that would be 8 millimeter. Very simple. So we did that. There is the pad, that's the base, and let's not worry about that anymore at all for now. Now on this one, I can see this is a basic square with 23 millimeter for 2 of them, in 3 in the middle, so it is like 10 on one side, so 10 millimeter square. They are placed 3 millimeter apart, and then these 2 units is repeated 3 more times with a 5 millimeter gap. So I want to create this tiny unit first. To do that, I can go ahead and create a cube, and this is by default 10 by 10 by 10, and on the height side I want to make it 8. So let's see what was developed. So we have this cube, that's the base cube. I'm going to actually rename that as a base cube, and that is had 10 millimeter sides and 8 millimeter height. So now I want to repeat that 3 more times, right? So let's go ahead and be in Lattice 2 Workbench, and I want to say on the linear array, I want to create a linear array, and on this one I want to configure to create only 2 of these at 3 millimeter distance. So my count would be 2, right? And then I want to go with step n, so I want to create 2. That's the step. I want to specify that step here. So step would be 2, right? And then so there are 2 kites already visible, so we will create 2, and then we'll have to specify the distance. So the beginning point is here, and that's the repeating point. The distance between them would be, for our case, 10 plus 3, which is 13. So let's go ahead and then say step is 13. All right, so there it is, and we got our linear array figured. So select the base cube, select the linear array, and come here to say populate with copies. So we have 2 copies selected. Now that part is done. We can hide these 2, and we got our 2 of the units. So now I can create another linear array, and I want to transform it to make it on y direction wise. So let's go ahead and then transform it there. Now it's pointing to the right direction, and I want to take these 2 and create another 2. So this one again we'll have to count, make the count 2, and then make it to step in, and after that select the step to 13. All right, now we select the array that we created in the previous step, and then the new array, linear array, and come here and say populate with copies, build array. I want to build array. So if I hit populate with copies, it will not work, and I want to build an array like that. Now I can go ahead and hide this. So we have this was the original repeating unit, and then this is the semi-repeating unit, I'm going to say. So this 4 of these will have to be repeated 3 more times in the x direction, and then 3 more times in the y direction. So now I can create another linear array and then configure that to make this repeating unit with 4 cubes 4 more times with a distance. So let's go ahead, say count would be 4, right? And the distance would be 23 plus 7, so which is different from this side, which is 5 in this side. So we are going with this 7, so 23 plus 7, that's 30. So I'm gonna come here, make it step in, and then come here and say step would be 30. That kind of aligns with what we are looking for. And now let's go ahead and then select the original repeating unit and the linear array, and come here, say populate with copies, build array. So we got this side taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and hide this. Now do the same thing on the other side. So create an array and then transform that. So for anything on the y direction, we'll have to transform it. So goes for the z direction, and change the count to 4. Generate on step in, and then give the step size to 28 there. So take the original repeating unit and take the new linear array and create array. So we build the array, and it has different lengths in different sides, but we got it. So let's go ahead and hide these kites. There is the base, and these are our repeating unit. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the name to base, and these are our let's keep it that way. And I can actually combine these two. So let's go ahead and make these. I can actually combine these two as a union. So these are solid. Now, because I have auto refine feature on, it is refined to make it a beautiful object. So we can see if this whole unit is a solid. We can create a sphere here and then make a deduction from the fusion and see it is cutting beautifully. So this trick I learned from Mango Jelly. It's a nice trick. And so we got our object as shown in the picture. I don't want to go ahead and change the colors right now. Doesn't add any value to the video, but I hope you enjoyed this process. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.